Welcome to Ham-Fisted Radio. I'm Ham Radio newbie, geek culture aficionado, and guy with 99 problems, and they're all due to poor time management and bad self-control, Mike. Call sign Katie9QHQ. On this episode, I react to what's possibly the dumbest thing I have ever seen. So it's been over a year since I put a regular video out on this channel. I had full intentions of, doing this weekly or bi-weekly or even monthly. I don't have time for that. So we're just going to do it when I feel like it. I promise one of these days I'll have a follow-up to the storm that went through a year ago. There was damage. It wasn't what I expected. But in the meantime, I'm going to do something that I've kind of been looking forward to and I've been meaning to get into for quite a while. Somebody sent me a video where a guy claims that he has proof that the Earth is flat due to radio waves. Now, I mean, any ham radio person knows that radio waves prove a spherical Earth. It just... So, let's have a laugh, I guess, huh? All right, I have seen bits of this, not the whole thing at once, because I wanted to get kind of a realistic reaction. I know reactions are all the rage these days, and that's why I'm doing it. So, here we go.
Aaron, and I'm here with a video which is a new proof of the impossibility of the sphere Earth model, which is pushed on us all. Obviously, there are lots of ways to prove that the surface of the Earth has no curvature and is flat. But what's unusual about this one is this is really, you could describe this as a glitch in the matrix, because what I found is that actually there are events in history which have been somewhat covered up, it seems, because they don't really fit with the sphere Earth model. So these events that I'm talking about are radio broadcasts. If you look back through the history of radio, obviously radio goes back far before the time that we're told there were satellites and all sorts of other things. In fact, they go back to valve technology. Broadcasts are made from masts, and if you have a single mast broadcasting at any point on the Earth, should we say, if obviously it was a globe, imagine a single mast broadcasting, electromagnetic radiation travels in straight lines.
Okay. Yes, electromagnetic radiation, RF radiation, travels in straight lines. That's mostly true. So far, so good. Other than the... what's he saying here? Like, we're being lied to. Ooh.
The mast would not be able to broadcast around the curvature of the Earth.
I think he means tower.
If you look at, if you talk to shills and so on about radio.
Shills. Am I getting paid for this? If I'm a shill, shilling for the Earth being round, I'm waiting for that check to come in. At any time, please.
Then they will, and you say to them, how is it these radio broadcasts have reached, all this way around the world? They will try and tell you that there's relays all over the place.
Wrong. The radios reaching all over the Earth aren't from relays. Now, I mean, yes, you can have repeaters and whatnot, usually on higher frequencies, but that's because stuff like 2 meters, 70 centimeters doesn't bounce off the ionosphere. So we have repeaters, and sometimes they repeat, and they transmit over the internet and transmit out from other towers or masts, I guess this guy calls them. Maybe that's a British thing, I'm not sure. But yeah, it's yes, but no. I'm relatively certain what this guy's going for is the early days of radio, as the date of 1915 is on the screen here. And, you know, back then they were using shortwave, HF, which we say high frequency, but relatively is a low frequency. Now, low frequency itself can actually follow the curvature of the Earth. We can ignore that for right now because it's its own special, crazy weirdness. Perfectly good scientific explanation for it, not actually in my head. As I said, newbie. I have read about it. It's just in one ear and out the other right now. But you can look it up. Super like low frequency waves will follow the curvature of the Earth somewhat. Standard amateur radio stuff bounces off the ionosphere. It goes straight, hits the ionosphere, bounces back down. That is why, like I live here in Wisconsin, on HF, I have a very hard time reaching Minnesota, Michigan, Illinois, any of those places on HF because I have to wait for those signals to bounce off the ionosphere and come back down, and they'll hit, many hundreds of miles out, the responses. So that's how that works.
However, back in the early part of the 20th century, no such thing existed. When radio was first used, there were broadcasts done which are impossible in the sphere-Earth model, and the powers that be have tried to suppress knowledge of this. So,
the powers that be.
To go to the Wikipedia page, for example, on the history of radio broadcasting, you wouldn't see anything suspicious. If you try to look back at the early history of the British public broadcasts, which were known as the Empire Service, you won't really be able to find any details because there are people that have been working quite hard to put all this down a memory hole.
All that is in books.
The Empire Service.
Have you read a book?
The precursor to what's now known as the BBC
Look,
World
he's
Service.
reading a book.
And the Empire Service was broadcast from the UK and was broadcast to the entire British Empire. Now, the British Empire...
huge area.
In order to reach all parts of the British Empire, broadcasting from London, you are broadcasting across the entire known world. This is impossible unless the world is...
it's not.
Flat, essentially, because how would any mast be able to transmit around significant parts of the curvature of the Earth?
Doesn't need to.
Impossible. So the Empire Service was, in fact, proving by its very existence that the sphere is impossible. However, it's very difficult to find details.
Proving the Earth is spherical.
I've been looking for some time, hunting around for proof that these broadcasts were made, proof which is still actually available in the public domain.
You haven't looked very hard.
I finally found some interesting proof when I came across a documentary from 1953. Now, this documentary was about transistors, about how the invention of transistors was going to change everything, which of course it did. And in one part of the documentary, it starts talking about broadcasts that were made from Arlington, Virginia in 1915. Now, these were made from a set of masts, and these radio broadcasts were picked up in Paris and Hawaii, according to this documentary, which is produced by various firms, including, I think, General Electric. And
let's pause this right here. So, obviously, the map you're seeing is a Mercator projection. Well, maybe not Mercator projection, because Canada looks a little too small. But regardless, it curves, right? And it curves this way and it curves that way. and the signal can go straight, bounce off the ionosphere, and go back down. Now, in this case, it does it many times. Bounces off the ionosphere, bounces off the ground, bounces off the ionosphere, bounces off the ground. And there's a lot of technical other issues with it, the way it scatters and directions that it can bounce. There's also like not tropospheric ducting, but see, I'm surprised I passed my technician at general license. I can't remember any of this, where it can basically just tunnel through the ionosphere and drop out. I'm sure somebody will correct me in the comments. Well, nobody will correct me in the comments because nobody will watch this. I'm doing it because it's fun. Anyway, there's plenty of evidence and plenty of scientific reason why the signals bounce all around a round Earth.
This documentary in 1953, they must have realised after that this is one of the items they'd better hide away, because it's only recently that this 1953 documentary has been re-released and is available. So I was watching this documentary, and sure enough, it started talking about these broadcasts, and actually put up a little graphic map which I've snapshotted, and so you can see that they're claiming that these broadcasts were made in Arlington, Virginia, were picked up in Paris and Hawaii, significant distances around the curved surface of the Earth, and unless someone has a way to explain how these signals somehow reach their destination, I mean, no doubt shills will start talking about freak atmospheric phenomena and of weather conditions and God knows what.
Still waiting for my money.
If you look at the history of these ideas,
now, freak weather conditions a phenomenon? It's not really freak. It's standard. We've known about it for over a century, probably more than that. And yeah,
that the atmosphere can interact with EM radiation. You'll see that those ideas were born
ionosphere, not atmosphere.
After all of this, probably as a way to patch up the fact that it's completely impossible. Now, I don't think anyone has ever produced any evidence that radio waves, which you send up into the atmosphere, are going to get bounced down around the world.
Guys, there's no evidence that this radio here can bounce signals off the ionosphere and back down to Earth and back up and back down to get all around the Earth. My, 80 some odd countries that I've contacted is all because the Earth is flat. And I can only contact them on HF because of reasons and 2 meter, 70 centimeter microwave, any of that other stuff. That doesn't work because I
around the sphere of the world. What are they going to bounce off, and how does that work, and what is the evidence
ionosphere
there's any way for this to occur? It's just ridiculous. So I'm afraid
so much evidence.
They screwed up by being too proud of their worldwide transmissions, making a big song and dance about it, and then only too late realising that they just proved that the world is not a sphere. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this. I've given this info to various other people in the Flat Earth
I've
movement
enjoyed
today,
it, but not
and
for the
hopefully
reasons
they will
that
be
you
breaking this out
were hoping
as
I
an
would.
additional killer proof. So yeah, so I hope that helps. Take care.
Killer proof. It's a killer proof. Okay, I think I covered this. This was entertaining. I can't even. It's one of those. Yeah, I can't even. So there you have it. This is okay. So this is from 2016. Still, this is the 21st century, and people think the Earth is flat. Flat. I can go outside with an antenna and work satellites that are zipping overhead. I have friends and other members of the ham radio community that can bounce signals off of the moon and contact others at extraordinary distance away that they normally wouldn't be able to do because they're bouncing signals off the moon. I can work people on satellite that are extraordinary distance away with 5-watt tech. This right here, hooked up to my 2-meter Yagi, 2-meter 70 centimeter Yagi. I can contact the ISS and talk to people there, and talk to people on the ground that are doing the same thing I'm doing. Through magic, apparently. I don't know. Well, this was fun. I actually really enjoyed this. I'm kind of looking forward to doing some more of these. I'll try and do some hunting and see what else I can find. Try and keep it radio specific. If by some miracle somebody watches this and has any ideas on stuff I could watch and react to, just throw it in the comments, or you find me on Discord, on any of the Discords. I'm on the Toads Discord, or my phone can stop dinging. There you go. Send me a text message. Don't send me a text message. Don't do that. If you like this, hit the subscribe button. If you're not one of the 4 people that are already subscribed, hit the like button too, because that's what I'm supposed to ask you to do. So please hit that like button and hit the subscribe button. And I promise the bell notification will only notify you at this rate once a year, apparently. All right. Well, thanks for watching. I'm Mike. We'll see you again next time.